All right, so you're doing a Think Aloud journal. And so, what this is I've given you some prompts to follow. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your book. Now, here's what I did in my book. And now, of course, I'm the teacher, but this is what I would really recommend is finding some spots that you think are important that relate to the pieces. And so I've marked them in my book, right? I've sort of put them there. So I have my book in front of me, and I've read the chapter, and I'm gonna model with chapter 8. So the first prompt says, I was pretty surprised when I read. So I'm on page 127, and it says, all right, then, he laid the conch with great care in the grass at his feet. The humiliating tears were running from the corner of each eye. I'm not going to play any longer, not with you, right? And I'm pretty surprised that Jack is essentially acting like a kid, right? I mean, he is a kid, but so far he's been acting so tough and so chief-like and so hunter and manly, right? That here he again just sort of shows us sort of that playful. I mean, not playful is the wrong word, but like he's just a child, and I was just so surprised. And it's just a sort of almost a comical reminder of how. Um, uh, of how young and childlike these boys are. So that was an example of finding the spot and saying I was pretty surprised when I read. Or on page 140, Jack now is in charge. He has his hunters and he yells, "Me and my hunters, we're living on the beach by the flat rock. We hunt and feast and have fun." This reminds me of two things. One is actually from the book. At the early in the beginning of the book, Ralph said, "We're going to have fun." And back then it was a paradise. It was like an island. They were going to swim and eat fruit, and it was going to be some sort of vacation in the Caribbean. And so that does remind me of the time that Ralph said, let's have fun. But Jack is saying, let's have fun. We're going to be savages. We're going to have a party. And this also just sort of reminds me of modern day politicians when they say, we're going to cut taxes and we're going to do what we want. We don't have to wear masks. There's this sense of like the short term fun aspect rather than the hard work and the forethought of maybe actually not having fun, or is fun really what they need at this time. The I wonder prompt, here's an example of this. I wonder, Jack is here taking charge and he's getting all these boys savages. And then I just sort of wonder um, what would have happened if Jack wasn't on this island? Um, would somebody have actually stepped in? Is it inevitable that we fall into chaos and evil? Um, is it Jack, or is it actually just if Jack wasn't there? No, somebody else would have filled this role. There would have been tension. There would have been conflict. The boys would have started down this path anyway. And the reason that's important to me is like we always blame the leader, but there's always seems to be a leader, right? There always seems to be someone that falls into this. Of course, when it comes to an important quote in this chapter, chapter 8, you have to go to the Lord of the Flies. It's the title of the book. And he says, "Fancy thinking the beast was something you could hunt and kill," said the head. This is when, of course, Simon is hallucinating. For a moment or two, the forest and all the other dimly appreciated places echoed with a parody of laughter, right? The forest is alive here. I just love that. You knew, didn't you? I'm part of you. Close, close, close. I'm the reason it's no go, why things are what they are, right? So the head is speaking, and you could almost hear the way things. But Ralph previously had asked, why is it happening this way? Um, what makes things break up the way they do, right? Why is there war? Why is there this awfulness? And here is the pig sort of saying, I am the way the things are what they are, but he says it's part of you. And I think this is an important quote because obviously it's the head talking, but this also represents sort of the point of the book, which is that there is evil in all of us, even in Ralph, as we're about to find out in chapter 9. Um, or sorry, yeah, chapter 9. There is evil in all of us. And this pig, the boys came and cut its head off and did all of this awful stuff to it. Um, is representative of that, right? It's representative of humans and the violence that we are capable of, and it's a part of us, and whether you want to call it evil or survival or power, but there is something that is unfortunately a part and has been a part of human civilization that we